turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Oh, you take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Come on. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. Yeah. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. I'm gonna see your victory. I'm gonna see your victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. Oh, I'm gonna see your victory. I'm gonna see your victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see your victory. I'm gonna see your victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see your victory. I'm gonna see your victory. Yeah. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You're turning it around. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You're working it out. You're working it for my good.
It's really good to see you all. You know, it's always a great opportunity to get together and, you know, learn something new, something we can put into our own lives and make it better, right? So tonight we're going to be talking about metabolism, and there's a lot of really good stuff we're going to cover tonight. But definitely tune in to the things that Dr. Jake's talking about. And like always, raise your hand, ask questions. We want to know what you have to say. I'm really excited about this because this is something that actually speaks to me personally. I have a super high metabolism naturally, so I don't have to worry about a lot of things that people do have to worry about when they have like a lower metabolism. But this is like a really good opportunity for those of you who do have a lower metabolism to learn how you can eat foods that boost your metabolism and will ultimately give you a better drive to be healthier and make you feel better. So everybody please tune in for Dr. Jake. Give him a hand. There you go.
Thank you. All right, you guys excited? Yes, awesome. So I've got about 6 hours of information that we're going to slog through tonight. It's really slow. Draw out the details. Make sure you guys really get it. No, my goal tonight is really be done by 7:30 so I can help with my kids in bed tonight. But I don't want to rush over anything. What we're going to do tonight, number one, we're going to be talking about the role of metabolism in your weight. Number two, the role of metabolism in your health. Number three, we're going to be looking at ways to increase your metabolism naturally and sustainably in a way that's actually going to make you healthy as opposed to just really thin. Anybody in for that?
Yes.
All right. So let's jump in. First, a little bit about us. This is more for those that are online. I know you guys know who we are, but this is the team right now. And you might see this team expand over the next couple of months. We got a lot of forward momentum going. You guys know Matt. What you may not know about Matt is that he's a former college basketball player and lacrosse player, and is the son of former college basketball and volleyball players. So he's also got his certification in physical training. And so if you need any help on the physical side with just developing different strengths where you're seeing a weakness or need somebody to assess you for those weaknesses, he's your man. Cheryl, on the other hand, she's going to be covering nutrition for us tonight. She brings to the table over 40 years of nursing experience, as well as almost 2 decades of teaching experience, teaching pharmacology and pathology, is among other things. I could probably give her a 7-page CV. Me, I've been graduated from chiropractic school for about a decade now, and it's fun. I really love what I do. I love getting to help you guys. And really, more than anything else, I love to see you guys meet your full potential. Right now, across the country, there are 350 offices doing the same thing across the US. No, over the next month, 350 of these will be done across the United States. So you guys aren't doing this alone. When you guys say, oh yes, I'm in for this 30-day challenge, this isn't just you and whoever you can convince in your house. This is you and tens of thousands of people across the country that want to do this alongside of you. And so just know that you're not alone, and that corporately, as a group, we want to empower you to live a longer, healthier life through what we do here through chiropractic care and the 5 essentials. So we're going to be getting into all that tonight. So let's talk about fat and metabolism. Fat's bad, right? Metabolism is good. Now we can go home. Okay. Oh, 30-day challenge, stop getting fat and boost your metabolism. Yeah. No, that's actually a misnomer. Fat is not bad. Fat is essential. We need fat to live, and we're going to be diving in deep into what fat is and what types of fat there are and how you can utilize that to help you burn fat better and increase your metabolism. Metabolism we're going to dive into because I feel like there's a lot of almost knowledge. It's like, I think I get what it is, but if you ask me, I'm not quite sure. Anybody want to be put on the spot for that one? No, okay. So I'll put myself on the spot for that, and we'll jump in from there. All right. So purpose of fat. Anybody know the purpose of fat? Any ideas? Energy? Well, yeah, in a food form, it's one of the most dense forms of energy out there. What about inside your body? What's the purpose of the fat? I mean, sexy curves, right? Warmth, absolutely. If it's cold outside, the extra layers of fat can help keep you warm. Anything else? Digestion. How about if you fall down, what's going to cushion you? It's there to protect vital organs. Now, if we go a little bit deeper, we can see there's actually 6 different types of fat that we're going to talk about tonight. Number 1 is essential fat. Who's heard of omega-3 essential fatty acids? EFAs, essential fatty acids. Omega-6s are also an essential fatty acid. You can break it down even further. There's, these triglycerides and things that your body needs. Essential fats are the fats that your body can't make on their own, but it needs in order to work. So like your brain is about 60% fat. And if your body fat percentage is too low, your brain power will start to suffer. You actually need fat, those essential fats, in order for your brain to function well. What's the backbone of every hormone in your body? Anybody have any idea? It's essentially a cholesterol chain. It's saturated fat in a cholesterol chain, and then it branches out and differentiates. And so you need that fat to have healthy hormones, right? So those are essential fats. Brown fat. Anybody hear of brown fat? No? I had to do a little bit of research on this one because I wasn't super knowledgeable about this coming in, but turns out this is the fat that most babies carry around. If the baby's breastfeeding, probably near 100% of the fat in its body is going to be brown fat. And the purpose behind brown fat is actually to keep that baby warm. And it actually burns through calories. It actually has a high level of metabolism just in and of itself. White fat is the fat that most of us have. It's this guy right here. That spare tire, these love handles that we have, that's more that protective layer, right? That's going to be either subcutaneous or visceral. And subcutaneous, if you break that down, that's actually just under the skin. Visceral, that's going to be around the visceral organs to protect those. But there's one in between here called beige. And actually, if you think about it as in between, it's a transitional fat, where this fat doesn't have any metabolism of its own, and this one does. This one is kind of a transition zone. When you find yourself in cold environments, often what you'll find is your white fat starts turning to brown and sits kind of at that beige, and it actually increases your metabolism. And this is where a lot of people will use like ice baths to increase their metabolism and help them lose weight. So that beige fat is actually really good. And if we can utilize that for ourselves, it can be an advantage to us to have that type of fat in our body. So yeah, that subcutaneous fat that's going to be under the surface of the skin, most of the fat that you see is going to be that. If you like the smooth, plump cheeks, that's going to be because of subcutaneous fat, and then that visceral fat, again, like I said, protecting those organs. So unfortunately, most Americans carry around lots of visceral fat. In fact, a lot of skinny people carry around a lot of visceral fat. And the reason why is because visceral fat is a response, a protective response to inflammation. So your body will store excess carbs, the ones that you don't burn through in a given day, as fat. And if it's an inflammatory fat, basically what your body recognizes it as is a threat to those organs. And so it'll kind of tuck it away because there's not a lot of blood supply to fat. There's not much that your fat does other than just protect. And we'll show you a couple different protective mechanisms. But excess will actually build up there. And so if you have a high level of visceral fat, or if you know you've got this spare tire and it's concentrated right here, then it's probably a sign that you have too much inflammation in your life. And if you want to know what inflammation is, go to last month's workshop. We dove deep on inflammation. But really, inflammation is your body's immune system responding to outside invaders. And visceral fat is a part of that. Now, it does have a protective mechanism, even if you went down to 1% body fat, which I don't recommend for any of you in this room. None of you, none. Don't volunteer for this. You'd still have visceral fat because you need to protect those visceral organs. So it's not all bad. Right? You can't just say bad, good. It's shades of gray. Certain levels of visceral fat are good. Too much is bad. But use it as an indicator of that inflammation happening in your body. Oh my goodness, this number keeps going up. When I was in school, this was down in the mid 30s, and it kind of jumped up and jumped down and jumped up and jumped down, but now we're above 40%. Our obesity level in the United States is above 40%. Now, a bad measurement of obesity would actually be the BMI. Basically, your height divided by your weight and density, right? We're not interested in bad measurements here. What we are interested in is that still, when you look at Americans, that's way too much. Now, it's different for men and for women. Women should have a higher level of body fat than men, and that's just because of basic body function. Women require certain processes that men don't require. But even so, that should be there somewhere between 15 to 20 to 25%, depending on your gender and depending on your size and depending on what your activity levels are on a daily basis. But Americans are not doing that. We have tons of visceral fat and we're obese. In fact, if you throw being overweight in this category, you've got almost 80% of Americans fall in either obese or overweight. And it has to do with our lifestyle. Unfortunately, just this last week, the American Academy of Pediatrics issued a report that said that they're now going to treat childhood obesity in kids the age of 12 and up with surgeries and medications. That it's too hard to change the lifestyle habits of a child.
That must be the parents thinking.
It was a doctor that said it. A pediatrician said that was too hard. And I get it, right? He's not trained in it.
Yeah.
But
it was actually the statement put out by
all the doctors, all the pediatricians in the or at least enough of a plurality that they got behind it and they made the statement. And so you can see kind of our culture crumbling on this. Yeah, they're calling it, a lifestyle disease, but they're also calling it a genetic disease. And we're going to get into this a little bit. I'm going to teach you a little bit about how genetics can be considered in this equation, but really where we should throw it out completely at the same measurement. So it's on the rise. What's the cause? Right. So we talked about this a little bit. Inflammation being a big one, but it's really America's sad lifestyle. Because that's what leads to that inflammation. If you're here last month, we kind of broke down those things that create inflammation. It's the same things that create obesity. And right at the heart of this is the SAD diet, or the standard American diet. What does the standard American diet consist of mostly? Yeah, processed food, fast food, convenient food, microwave food, stick it in the oven food, things that we can get on the table quickly because we're too busy. And our lifestyle of convenience is catching up with us. It's estimated that 88% of Americans are dealing with a metabolic disorder. 88%. Do you think that excludes this room? No, I don't think so either. But then people say, I just have a slow metabolism. Well, what is metabolism? What is it? Well, nobody wanted me to volunteer them. And so I'll break it down for you. So before we get into BMR, metabolism is essentially how you consume energy. Energy used inside of your body. And so you take in food and you burn it as. Now, it also has to do with the way that you get nutrients to where they need to go. And so when you look at something like basal metabolic rate, this is where Matt really wins. He has a super high basal metabolic rate. He basically is a Ferrari, if you think about it, in terms of cars. When he idles, he burns gallons of gas, per hour, just idle. He doesn't have to be doing anything, and his body burns it off. Now, some others of us are like a super slow metabolism, like we'll say a Volkswagen Beetle, right? We're not going to beat that Ferrari in anything, except maybe less gas. But it seems like no matter how much or how little food we take in, it just goes straight to those levels. And so what are the factors that get us there? Well, we got to get over those metabolic diseases. So what are some of those metabolic diseases? You guys know? I mean, think of the top killers in the U.S. Diabetes, heart disease, cancer. Keep naming them. Alzheimer's disease, dementia. These are all metabolic diseases. This is at the root of everything that is going to rob us of being able to fulfill our purpose and God's plans for our lives. And so we have to address our metabolism. So the things that address, or things that factor into metabolism, number one is going to be age. Unfortunately, I am never going to burn fat or calories as fast as my children. Never. Now, there was a time when I could have competed with them, right? But my children will always burn fat and calories faster than me. Why? They're growing. They're turning that into new them all the time. The rest of us, we're turning what we put in our mouths into new you every 15 to 20 years, right? 15 to 20 years, they've tripled in size. For us, hopefully we haven't tripled in size, right? So we don't want to do that. Next would be epigenetics. So why did I say epigenetics and not just genetics? If my mom was fat and my dad was fat, does that guarantee that I'm fat? No. But if my mom was fat and my dad was fat and my grandpa was fat and grandma was fat, is it more likely that I'm going to be fat? Will I have the fat genes? Absolutely. But what are genes? They're like bullets in a gun. Do you have to fire a loaded gun? No. I mean, some of us might even keep a loaded gun somewhere close to the door just in case. Lifestyle is a trigger for genetics. You can have the breast cancer gene and never get breast cancer. You can have the obesity gene and be as skinny as Matt with his high metabolism. You can have rheumatoid arthritis gene, never get it, because it's the lifestyle that actually flips that gene on or off, depending. And so we need to consider genetics, right? If everybody in your family has something, should we treat it as if I have that thing, or should we treat it as if I'm not good, that it's more likely that I have that thing? It's just likelihood, it's probability, right? We got to create a healthy environment. Diet absolutely plays a role in metabolism. If you're eating fat, greasy food all the time, you become what? Fat, greasy dude. So we got to watch out for that. Exercise. If you don't exercise, it's going to be hard to maintain a high metabolism. If Matt ate Twinkies and bonbons on his couch for the rest of his life, do you think he might start putting on some weight and gaining that spare tire? Yeah, if he stops exercising, absolutely. And then lifestyle. Just all the other factors, including toxicity that we're going to get into tonight. So body composition and metabolism. Which of these bodies do you think has a higher metabolism? On the left or right? I hope so. Right? No, and it's actually extremely hard to maintain this because muscle mass does burn so fast that ultimately it will start burning through itself. And so you do want more muscle mass to keep that metabolism high, but just know that it requires more. It requires more work, it requires a little bit more maintenance. This, however, you have to do nothing to maintain. Right? So, you know, you think about it, what was the plan? Was it that we were like this, or was it that we were like this? Closer to here. Right? I think Adam probably had a six-pack. No belly buddy, but a six-pack. Eve probably as well. I'm just saying. So, boosting metabolism to max limit. What are going to be the keys here? Well, number one, optimize your nervous system. Number two, your diet, your nutrition. Number three, stress less. Number four, move your body. And number five, we're going to minimize toxins and add that detox in. So number one, I moved this up. When they give me these PowerPoints, they kind of make some suggestions. They said, put this one at the end. I'm like, no, this is too important. Because could I put you guys on a diet, on a 30-day challenge without this, and some of you guys get skinny? Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of diets out there that'll make you skinny. Does skinny equal health? No. No, there's plenty of people that are dying of Alzheimer's disease, of heart disease, of cancer, of diabetes, that are perfectly fit. Or imperfectly fit is probably a better way to say it. What is health? Health is not skinny. And some of the healthiest people in the world are not skinny. They're not necessarily fat either. Comes over to this guy, it doesn't. Health is a state of 100% optimal function in the ability of the body to heal. You can be healthy and not be skinny. You can be healthier than a skinny person just by having a healthy nervous system. Why? Well, because health equals 100% function, what controls function is your central nervous system. For your heart to beat, for your lungs to breathe, for you to digest and assimilate this living, loving, thinking play, and food into this living, loving, thinking play. A signal has to travel from the brain down the spinal cord and out the nerves to every organ, cell, and tissue. Doesn't happen then. You know that because if you sever the brainstem, what happens? Everything stops, 0% function immediately, and you die. We sever all the nerves that go to the heart. It stops. Again, you die. We sever all the nerves that go to the digestive system. Doesn't matter if you eat keto, paleo, advanced plan, core plan, take all the supplements with all the benefits. It does not at all because that food will not be able to be digested and assimilated into you. And what surrounds and protects that? Your spine, right? The vertebra, the spinal column, surround and protect your brainstem, your spinal cord, and each of the nerve roots that exit off. And that has a normal position to be straight up and down from the front with these 345-degree curves from the side. In that position, there can be no pressure damage on the nerves. But what happens when you set up at your laptop and you've got a second screen over here, and it's bigger, so I want to work here, but my keyboard's over here. So I do this for about 3 hours. What's going to happen to my neck? You think it's going to bounce right back? It's going to get stuck. It's going to get stuck. And the muscles in there, they have these little receptors, Golgi tendon organs and stuff like that, that send signals, stress signals, back up to the brainstem, and a particular part of the brainstem called the vestibular cortex. What's the vestibular cortex responsible for? Talked about this before. Balance. Joint position sense. Anybody know where your hand is when you close your eyes? That's your vestibular cortex. When that's not right, it sends a stress signal up to the prefrontal cortex. What's the prefrontal cortex? Self-actualization. Emotions. You being human. thoughts, cognitive thoughts. And so you working on a computer like this for 3 hours just decreased your balance and coordination and made you less of you. By your spine being stuck out position, whether you feel bad or not, whether it sends a pain signal or not, you are less of you than God intended. This is why I do chiropractic. The prefrontal cortex? Yeah. Prefrontal, yeah. It's because there's a dissection there. Prefrontal. Yeah. So also underneath the frontal bone. Lots of reasons for that. So yeah. So this is why I'm a chiropractor. Because when I adjust, it's not about making you feel better. As much as I want that, right? You not feeling good is also keeping you as less of you. I mean, I don't know too many missionaries or pastors that are serving God in their positions, that are dealing with chronic disease, that are also meeting 100% of their full potential in the ministry. I don't know too many engineers that are on the job designing dams and reconstructing bridges and improving new buildings being built that are doing so at 100% of their potential when they're in chronic pain or have chronic disease. Just imagine the potential of someone like Stephen Hawking if he wasn't completely crippled, right? When you have 100% function, you are more of you. And that's why I want you here. That's why I want you guys to continue to come back, not just when it hurts, but all the time, to make sure that you are fully you. So subluxation is a misalignment of the spine that's stuck out of position. Right? Any misalignment, 2 millimeters, 2 degrees. It'll send that stress response up. Now, what happens when you get a stress response up here? It sends a stress response down here, doesn't it? So then what happens? Well, then you get a stress response in your adrenal glands. What does that release? Cortisol, adrenaline, epinephrine, norepinephrine. Stress response in your digestive system. What does that do to your digestive system? It makes it stop, essentially. Your body doesn't like to digest food when it's in a stress response. It diverts blood flow away from the digestive system and out to the hands and the arms and the legs and the feet so that you can fight off a tiger or run away from a tiger as fast as you can. And so we want to stay out of a subluxated state as much as possible. So how do we tell if a subluxation is in the spine? Can you feel it? 90% of the time you won't feel a subluxation. 90% of the time it'll feel normal. How many people have laid down on my table and said, I feel good today, doc, and then I adjusted 7 seconds? Right? Did I adjust you because I want your money? No. How many of you have a high five? Probably less, because you didn't have anything. That's my goal, is to give you a high five. I've had several of them. Most of them happen to kids. It's like, lay you down, feel anything. You're good to go. High five to mom, right? That's what I love to see. But X-ray tells us what we need to know about subluxation. Nerve skin tells us what we need to know about subluxation. So which of these two spines looks like subluxation? Yeah, the left one, right? What doesn't she have? She doesn't have a curve, right? She also doesn't have good disc space here, right? Now, if she felt fine, would it be okay to leave this here? Right? Now, most people that feel fine will do what? Leave that there. This is Mary, and most of you have heard Mary's story before, but Mary came into my office at 30 years of age, 10 out of 10 neck pain, thyroid not working, low energy, over 100 pounds overweight. Asked her how she got here, right? What's your story? She said, well, about 10 years ago, my neck started hurting. I went to the medical doctor. He gave me what? Medication, right? Sent me home. I said, what happened next? Well, I came back the next day because it still hurt. The pills weren't helping. They tried to get me to come back later in the week, but it was still a 10 out of 10. I couldn't operate, couldn't function. So brings her back, gives her stronger meds. Doesn't work. So then he sends her out to what? A pain management specialist. What do they specialize in? Yeah, making sure that you have pain for the rest of your life, just less so, right? They're going to manage it for you. He happens to refer her out to a physical therapist. The physical therapist happens to do a massage that makes her feel a little better. So she hires her own massage therapist who happens to refer people to chiropractors. She goes to a chiropractor, makes it feel better for the first time since she started going to the doctor. He says, okay, Mary, your insurance gives you 12 visits a year. How would you like to use this? Well, if you get 12 visits a year, it's easy math, right? Once a month. So she goes for 10 years to this chiropractor. Feels better after every adjustment, and then I get this x-ray 10 years later. Was that chiropractor doing bad adjustments? No, he was probably doing excellent adjustments if she felt better afterwards. Was she doing often enough or frequent enough? No, because what stress is constantly on this one? That's going to pull you out of position every second, every day, as long as you're up there. Gravity. Right? Gravity is always pulling down on you. And when a joint's out of position, Wolff's Law jumps in. And Wolff's Law causes a joint that's out of position. It doesn't even have to be arthritic yet. It degenerates at a rate of 7%. And so I said, Mary, does it make sense that only one adjustment a week is not, or one adjustment a month is not going to fix this? So yeah, I always wanted more, right? Like, okay, so what do we do? You guys remember this? 3 words. Mix, fix, set. That's the corrective process. Mix, fix, set. You don't fix a joint without it. You can stick a joint, you can fuse a joint, you can crack a joint, but you're not going to fix a joint without mix, fix, set. It's not going to correct. You're not going to get a healthy joint without mix, fix, set. And so we gave her the traction exercise, we gave her the wobble exercise, we gave her adjustments 3 times a week. We set it in place with biplate and body weights. And over the course of 3 months, she went from here to here. Her pain level went from consistently 10 out of 10 to consistently 4 out of 10 or less. After 3 months, if we had stopped care here, what would have happened? It would go right back. And some of you have experienced this. We've done just not quite enough. Or maybe you've stopped or paused care for a certain amount of time, and then we took an x-ray, and guess what? It looks closer to this all of a sudden. Does it mean your spine's less healthy? No, we unfixed the joints, we unstuck those joints. There's less stress going to your brain. It's coming back out. But what's happening when it goes back here? You've got that pathological tension on the spinal cord, pulling on the brainstem, decreasing your potential, decreasing your life, decreasing your life expectancy. I want you here as long as possible. Right? So she's stuck under it. Guess what happened over the course of the next 2 years? Thyroid turned back on, lost over 100 pounds. Praise God, right? But it wasn't because I adjusted, right? It was because she learned how to get healthy. I didn't teach her weight loss. I did a little bit. That was never the focus. The focus and the intention was always on function. Another patient I've had that has done this start, stop, has actually done phenomenal results. Some of you might know Penny. Penny started under care for excruciating back. Actually found out about us through a job interview. Like, this sounds not just like somewhere I want to work, but somewhere I want to get help from. And we got her started under care, did 2 months of care, and she lost 15 pounds. Didn't change her diet, didn't exercise at all. Why would she lose weight? Function increased. Reduced the stress. Got her in a parasympathetic state. And then she quit. Because it felt better, and she was functioning so much better. And she was going through a really tough time in her marriage. Came back 2 years later. You think her spine was better or worse? Worse. Way more damage. Way more damage. 2 years at degenerating at a rate of 7% per year without any care. Even though I had given her home exercises. So home exercises weren't enough to keep up. It's mix, fix, set. You can't eliminate part of that and still get better. We started her under care again. She responded beautifully, even faster this time. She got much better results. But then she had to stop because finances got tight. What's the cost of chiropractic? What's the value of chiropractic? The average patient who stays under care at least once a month, so less than what I recommend, so at least once a month, in a 7-year study, they measured people that did this for 5 years. People that stuck around for 5 years saved an average of 63% on healthcare expenses every single year. What's the average amount of healthcare expenses in the United States right now? $11,000. If you're over the age of 65, think $25,000. So me giving you chiropractic care for 5 years is like me handing you a $7,000 check or a $17,000 check. So yeah, you want good chiropractic care, you want consistent chiropractic care, you want it to pay off. How's it going to pay off? Well, oftentimes it pays off this way. People that have subluxation, they have it for a long time, often deal with headaches when they have misalignments at the top. They deal with menstrual problems when they have female organs and they have misalignment at the bottom. They have high blood pressure when they have hyperkyphosis, that old lady, old man posture. Depression when they have pressure at the top, misalignment at the top. Numbness and tingling down the leg, sciatica, right? Low back pain when it's out at the bottom. Numbness and tingling from the neck when it's in the hands, carpal tunnel. Oftentimes multiple pressure points along that. Neck pain when it's out in the neck. Dizziness when it's out at the top of the neck. Fatigue when it's out at the top of the neck. There's a little part of your brain that controls energy production right at the top. Acid reflux, digestive system. We mentioned this. Food intolerances, digestive system again. That's usually low back. That could be that vagus nerve. Allergies and asthma, again, hyperkyphosis and scoliosis through that upper back, or again, vagus nerve to the lungs. Ear infections, right at the top. How many of people's kids had multiple ear infections? Most people's kids. I was just talking to some friends the other night. Like, oh yeah, just this fall we had all of our kids had ear infections and one had to get tubes in. I'm like, oh my goodness, why didn't you tell me? How many ear infections have my kids had? 0 between 3 of them. Because we pay attention, we focus on the function. Frequent colds, people getting sick a lot. Where would that happen from? Well, compromised immune system, digestive system. Constipation, can't get it out. Down here, again, digestive system, lower digestive system, low back. Attention and focus right at the top. A lot of this stuff is right at the top. Sleep problems right at the top. Again, eczema, skin issues, guts, right at the bottom there. That was one of the things that we figured out with my wife. She had scoliosis but didn't have any symptoms, but she dealt with really bad cystic acne her whole life. She was given antibiotics. She was given some really nasty topical medications, some really nasty oral medications. It all just made it worse. We started changing our lifestyle, starting with chiropractic first, and then addressing food sensitivities and allergies and things that nobody had ever addressed with her before. And guess what? Her skin's not perfect. There's too much lifetime stuff that's gone on. But she's gotten way better. The recent one that we addressed with her was actually oats. Didn't show up on the blood test that we did, but we found it. We got it. So what should we be doing every single day? Twice a day. Right? Back, forth, front, back, twist. Every single day. For how long? Forever. It's like brushing your teeth. If you're not doing this, will your spine get better? Will it stay the same? No, it won't. Even if it doesn't look any worse, it won't stay the same. You'll lose mobility. You'll lose that function, right? It'll probably get worse. So, Cheryl, you ready? Once you get your function right, now what do you got to feed that function? Good food.
Okay. So clean, whole food nutrition. You guys know what clean food is, right? We've talked about it quite a bit. Whoops, what did I do? The wrong direction. So we want, what kind of protein do we want? Come on. Huh? Grass-fed, grass Finished. That's right. That's right. That's for our beef. Chicken, eggs, free range. Exactly. Fats. What kind of fats are best? Natural fats. Coconut. Avocados. Good, you picked up on the hint, right? Okay. Coconuts, avocados, olive oil. Okay. Those are good, healthy fats because you don't have to squeeze a kernel of corn so hard to get oil out. I mean, you have to squeeze it really hard to get oil out of it. Lots and lots of processing. So corn oil we don't like. Okay. Canola oil. I didn't realize that there's actually a plant called canola. I didn't realize that till recently. But again, those are processed oils. Anything that is trans, it is multi-processed. We want to kind of stay away from all of those. We like the omega-3s, we like the omega-6s, and that's what our body wants to function, omega-3s and omega-6s. All the rest. Butter if it's grass-fed, grass-fed, grass-finished cows that the milk comes from. Yep, then it's fine. Okay, those inflammatory fats, those are the corn oils, the canola oils, the polyunsaturated trans fats, and everything else that you can't even pronounce. Okay, those are those inflammatory fats that are going to cause that inflammation that Dr. Jake talked about last month. Okay, inflammatory fats. The anti-inflammatory fats, that's what comes from your grass-fed, grass-finished beef. That's what comes from your seafood. We want wild caught seafood, and it's best if it's cold water, meaning the Pacific Ocean, as opposed to warm water, the Atlantic. We also don't want farm-raised fish. That is, again, not a normal natural diet, not a normal natural environment. They have salmon, is supposed to be a nice pink color. They have to put food dye in it to make it pink enough. If it's salmon that's been raised in a farm. So you want wild caught, you want it natural. Those are going to be your good healthy fats. Okay, sneaky oils. They sneak a lot of oils in a lot of different things, and you have to read the labels. Palm oil, that was something I just not too awful long ago read on the label, and I thought, where do you get palm oil from? Well, you get it from palms, but it's not a normal, natural occurring. Again, lots and lots of processing. Alternative milks versus dairy, again, which is better? It's hard to say. If you can tolerate cow's milk, as long as it's your dairy's coming from your grass-fed, grass-finished, I guess they wouldn't be grass-finished, grass-fed, grass-fed cows. Make sure that they're not injecting these dairy cows with hormones. That's how they get the cows to consistently produce milk, is by injecting them with estrogens to keep them producing the lactose, the milks. So think about that. Skim milks, everybody wants skim milk, okay? Skim milk actually has more sugar in it than your whole milk. Your whole milk is a better option. Again, if it's from a cow that's raised right. There are alternatives. Obviously, there's almond milk. There is oat milk. There is soy milk. Pick your preference. Coconut milk? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Protein. We've already talked a little bit about, go ahead.
I have a question kind of regarding that. We were talking about with coffee and cream.
Uh-huh.
So much of what's out there, bad like that.
Yeah.
What should we do? I know
Well,
Dr. Jake talked about it.
A little coconut milk, a little oat milk.
Is that what you're using? Coconut milk?
Right now I'm doing coconut because
They also have net pods, little bottles like this, and might come bigger. I don't know. The ones I've seen are like this big. I've been trying to get away from the sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Even you get the powdered cream, it's full of sugar.
Yeah, it is. It's concentrated. Yeah.
There it is.
Okay.
It's empty.
You were going to take it home with you, weren't you? That's how much he uses. So again, protein. What's
irresistible.
Yeah.
Isn't that good?
What's your protein for?
Muscle building?
Muscle building. Exactly. We do get some energy from that protein. That's our last source of breaking down to get into the energy stores. We want to burn the sugar first. We want to burn the fat second. And a worst case scenario, we'll burn protein. But so we don't want to get into a protein burning, but that's going to help fill you up longer so you're not eating the carbs, you're not eating the sugars, those types of things too. Okay. So what's the difference between just grass-fed and grass-fed, grass-finished? You know? Okay. Grass-fed means it's had, I think, 60% of its life on grass, and then they ship it to a feedlot to inject it with antibiotics, give it hormones, and lots of grain so that it can fatten up the last 60 or 90 days of its life. And the farmer can ultimately get more money out of this cow because he's got more weight on him. Okay? So that's why we want to say, we say grass-fed, grass-finished. My father-in-law used to own a feedlot, so, I would see he'd get, not every 60 days or so, a new truckload would come in. The old ones would go to auction house or stockyards, and then the new truckload would come in, and it was just kind of a revolving door. Eggs, we kind of talked about that a little bit. Free range, pasture raised, or cage free. So what's the differences between free range, pasture raised, or cage free?
That's where they have EB eggs. Is the better egg, or is it really?
I don't know about AB eggs.
EB.
EB. That stands for something.
That's Eggland's Best.
Eggland's Best. Okay.
That's just the name.
That's a brand name.
Oh, so they're not necessarily.
No. Cage free means these chickens are not kept in a cage, but they still might only have a square to walk around in and move around in. They may always be kept in the chicken coop or the barn, never see sunlight, never eat the bugs and critters that they pick up off the. Okay, so we really don't want cage free, but it's a step above being caged in. But pasture raised or free range, pasture raised, these chickens walk around the feed or walk around the farmyard. They can pick up grubs out of the grass. They can eat whatever they want to. They see the sunshine. The sun helps their bodies mature, make the chemicals. Just that process of moving around, moving helps our muscles. Moving helps their muscles. What we eat is their muscles, if you want to put it that way. Their meat, and we want that developed meat. Okay, we want that. It's going to be better for us in the end. Weight loss, simply calories in versus calories out. No. No. Like you said, any one of these products sitting over here is a lot of calories in, and we could exercise for 6 hours for one of those products. Just pick one, a Snickers bar, just a little tiny Snickers bar, okay? Might take 3 hours worth of exercise to burn those calories. We can't do that. It's not feasible. We need to get the nutrition from those calories also. I don't want calories that are loaded with sugar or come from sugar. They don't have any nutritional density. They don't have any vitamins in them. They don't have the minerals that we need. They don't have the healthy proteins that we need. A lot of those things. So simply calories in versus calories out is a bad concept. Since I've been here, I did have one patient say that was his weight loss plan, was calories in versus calories out. We had a little discussion on that. It's like, no. Does quality actually matter? Absolutely. And we do know that the quality of the food that we're buying is less than it was 20 years ago. The quality of the food that we're purchasing has fewer nutrients in it. Because it's being grown in depleted soils. We want to stay, I didn't mention genetically modified. We want to stay away from those GMOs, genetically modified organisms. And we want to eat what's natural. Again, you've probably heard all of us say food by God rather than food by man. So genetically modified is absolutely food by man. Those engineers getting into their little laboratories and thinking, what can we come up with? Okay. I loved the, what is it? The McRib. Everybody's heard of McDonald's McRib. Okay. Well, that's unfortunately University of Nebraska Food and Dietetic Center. That's one of their claims to fame. They actually developed the McRib sandwich for McDonald's. Sorry to say that, but I'm sure there's some other great things that they've helped with, but again, the quality's not there. We don't know what that is really that we're eating. And it's been pressed into a mold to make it look like ribs, right? So anyway, quality definitely matters. And the advanced plan, some of you I've talked to about the advanced plan. This is the healing diet. This is what we want to put people on and recommend people start with if they have illness or disease. It's a great, and that's what part of our challenge is tonight, is to use that advanced plan for 30 days and then go back to the core plan after that. So no grains, no sugars. Your fruits are going to be berries, Granny Smith apples, lemons, limes, and grapefruits. Good healthy proteins, good healthy fats. Okay, so that's the advanced plan. The core plan then can add back in some of those other fruits and vegetables that we kind of leave out from the advanced plan. Okay. You want to talk about the bundle?
Sure. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the 30-day challenge at the end of this. You'll kind of get some clues along the way. But basically, any of us could jump on the 30-day challenge, just change the way that we're eating, just change the way that we're moving. And some of us would get results. Not everybody would. Adding this in is a great way to just get your metabolism that much further, so that if you weren't going to get the results just by changing the diet and changing the lifestyle stuff, to actually help you get over that hump. And so we've got 4 different components here. The first one would be, I would actually go with the protein. If you're going to actually burn fat, you have to get yourself in a state where your metabolism is going higher. Consuming more protein will actually do that for you. And so there's a lot of high protein diets out there, high protein medically assisted diets out there that give people fantastic results, but the quality of the protein matters. What I love about our protein is that you're never going to find any fillers, artificial flavors, or artificial sweeteners. Go into GNC, go into Vitamin Shop, pick up the most common one, the big display. Pick one of those up. The first ingredient is not going to be your protein. It's going to be maltodextrin, which is what? It's corn sugar, essentially. You're not paying for corn sugar, you're paying for protein. And so the whey protein is actually the best one for weight loss. And so that's the one that I would recommend for the 30-day challenge, unless you can't do dairy at all, in which case we're going to put you on something else. If you're vegan, there is a plant protein that you can do instead, but the whey protein is the best if that's not a limitation for you. Second one that I would do is the metabolic burn. Metabolic burn is a combination of herbs, probably the biggest one being a decaffeinated coffee bean. So this is not a caffeine boosting metabolism. You don't want to rely on caffeine to boost your metabolism. The decaffeinated green coffee bean naturally raises your energy and metabolism levels, as well as giving you some of those adaptogenic herbs that help you differentiate the foods that you're putting in your body into the appropriate things. The next one would be the detox system, actually. And the reason why I say detox system, this is actually coming before I talk about toxins at all in this, but because we consume so many obesogens. Obesogens are toxins that end up demanding that your body require more fat cells in order to protect itself from the toxin. The more obesogens you're surrounded by and consume, the more body fat you will build on and you'll pack on, and it actually restricts your metabolism there. And so what I love about ours is it's actually a 2-part system. One, to come in and beat up the bad guys, right? All those toxins. And then one, to not take it to jail, but to kick it out, right? Release it into the ocean. Like, you get out of here. Like, you're not even allowed on this planet, right? So that's the system. The max greens are there because greens are an important part of anyone's healthy lifestyle. And the fact of the matter is, I've seen enough and done enough nutrition consults. Most of you are about a minimum of 2 servings short of the amount of vegetables that you should be having on a daily basis. And this, depending on how big you are, is between 3 and 5 servings of vegetables in a single scoop. And so just a very efficient way to get about this much veggies into a cup about this size. So you guys will get to sample some of that in the back. We've got a mix of the protein and the greens with some almond milk, so you guys can try the flavor of it. We got chocolate and chocolate for those chocoholics like me out there. Yeah, and if anybody doesn't like chocolate, there's vanilla whey and there's a berry greens powder, and those are also very good. My kids like them all. If my kids like it, then you shouldn't have too much of a problem. So those are the supplements. Now, can we do it without the supplements? Can you find the nutrients that are in here without getting the supplements? Yes, you can, but it's just going to require a lot more eating, which is kind of against what we're trying to do right now. And we just don't have as much access to it. So this just makes it more efficient, more easy for us to get there. So our next step is we're going to stress less. Anybody want less stress? No, I see a couple liars out here. Right? We want to stress less. Why do we want to stress less? Because this cohort, this group, this room, this culture out here is experiencing more stress than any other cohort in history, which is crazy because we live longer and we live more luxurious lives, but our stress is actually making us fatter and is slowing down our metabolism. So, why? Cortisol. Sorry, not sure why that's happening. Probably the animations. It's the stress hormone. What does cortisol do? A lot of things, right? Increases inflammation, increases blood sugar. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, it makes it much harder for your body to handle any level of sugar, even the sugars that your body naturally produces. It makes it harder. And so cortisol, it's not all bad, right? Anybody ever get a cortisone injection? Cortisone is essentially cortisol. And what it is it's a pain reliever. They give you a temporary pain relief by injecting into a joint or a muscle this cortisone steroid or cortisone cream or whatever. And what that does is it creates a fight or flight, a sympathetic response in the tissues in which it goes, which does all those things I talked about, right? It takes blood flow away from the digestive organs, moves that blood flow to the extremities, and makes it so that you can fight or flight better. And so it's not all bad. You know, you guys have heard of those grandmas that pick up the 2,000-pound car off their grandbaby? They couldn't have done that without cortisol. God put it there for a reason. We're not going to throw it out with the bathwater. No, but we want to make sure that we're not running off of cortisol. If you crave sweets, anybody? You have too much cortisol. Why? Because when you go into that fight or flight, you can't digest fats. You can't digest proteins. They're too complicated. But sugars digest up here. And they digest very easily down here. And so your body starts telling your brain, hey, you need more calories. And so it starts demanding them. And we're like, oh, chocolate. Oh, Coke. I need my Frappuccino. Right? And then we give ourselves diabetes. And so this is where we get in that stress cycle. So, yeah, anybody ever like go home and eat one of these and have a side of this? Yeah. We tend to overeat when we're stressed. We eat the wrong foods and we eat too much of them. And so we have to figure out a way to keep those stress levels down. And so I don't like this space. I don't like stress management. I don't. Because what you focus on grows. If you wake up in the morning, there's about 11,000 different inputs, and your stress is so high that all you can focus on is the stress. Are you going to see any of the good things that God's doing for you? No, because you can only handle about 28 things at a time, which is still incredible. I really feel like I can only focus on one thing. But yeah, 28 things at a time. And if I'm focusing on red cars, I'm going to see more red cars. If I'm focusing on a new house, I'm going to see all the for sale signs out there. If I'm focusing on all the blessings that God's putting in my life, I'm going to see the blessings. If I focus on all the curses that Satan's trying to speak over me, what am I going to see? The curses. If I'm going to focus on the next deadline, what am I going to see? The next deadline. Constantly. If I'm going to focus on the bad words that people are speaking into me, what am I going to receive? The bad words. And so we have to focus on the positive stuff. We have to create peace. It helps to make a goal, right? We're going to talk, like I said again, we're going to talk about this 30-day challenge here in just a couple of minutes. Don't do the challenge without a goal. Let me repeat that. Do not do the challenge without a goal. Why? Because you'll fail, right? You won't succeed. You'll either be constantly comparing yourself to what everybody else is doing, in which case your goal was just what everybody else is, which, I don't know, God did not create me to be anybody else, and he definitely did not create you to be anybody else. He created you to be uniquely who you are and his purposes and plans. So let's make a goal. We're going to make it smart, and then we're going to have accountability. We're going to do it together, right? That's why we do this in the room. This is why I hate it when people are like, oh, I'll just catch it online. I'm like, I understand that there are obstacles in life that keep you from being here, but I want you here. Because we do this together. If we show up and we see the same people and we say, hey, what was that goal last time? Did you meet it? Did you struggle? Or your struggles? I had that same struggle. Can we help each other? This works so much better. So we do life together. This is one of our key values. So what's a SMART goal? And I've talked about this before, about this time of year. This is the reason why most people buy the gym membership in January and stop using it before February, because they don't have a SMART goal. Number one, it has to be specific, right? If I would say I want to lose weight, great, I just got off the treadmill. Technically, I lost weight. Technically. It's not a very good goal to just say I want to lose weight. You have to be specific. I want to lose 15 pounds. Measurable. Not only is it specific, now I can say 15 pounds. I know about what that feels like. Can grab my tummy and feel that 15 pounds, right? So we have to be able to measure it, right? Saying I just want to lose weight, that's not measurable. I mean, kind of it is if you have a starting point, but not really attainable. If I said I wanted to lose 100 pounds in 30 days, what would I have to do? Chop off a leg, right? It would be a surgical procedure to get there, right? It's not attainable for me to do that. If I said I wanted to play in the NBA by the end of this year, not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. Also, is it relevant? Does me playing in the NBA have anything to do with the purposes that God put me on this earth for?
I don't know.
Matt doesn't know. He hasn't seen me play basketball. Yeah. Relevant. So if you are 105 pounds dripping wet, would it be relevant for you to have a goal of 15 pounds? No, I don't want you losing 15 pounds. That would be counterproductive. Remember, function, health, that's our goal. You meeting your purposes and God's plans, that's our goal. And then timely. We have to have a time frame for this. We can't just say 15 pounds because I could say, well, 15 pounds in 15 years, right? 14 years from now, I'm up 20. I'm like, oh, shoot, well, now it's 35. Right? So we give ourselves that time frame. So for the challenge, it's 20 and 30, the 20 and 30 challenge. So that's how we want to pick those goals. Now, it doesn't have to be weight loss. Not everybody in this room needs to lose weight, but I guarantee you that everybody in this room has work to do to get healthier. Everybody has something that they can add or take away that's going to get them healthier. And that's where detox comes in. And this is the takeaway part, right? Here's the thing. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. Our body has all these amazing things. The digestive system, this long tube, all the toxins, they can flow right out, can't they? Take them in, our body can differentiate them. Our nervous system talks to our digestive system and says, hey, we don't need this stuff. We need this stuff, breaks it all down, shoves the bad stuff out. If anything accidentally gets in, guess what? We've got a liver. That's going to shove more stuff back out. It's going to produce some stuff like bile to help break it down even better. We've got a pancreas to help on the small intestine. We've got kidneys, filter out the blood, push that all out. But guess what? That all works like a funnel. If you fill a funnel too full, does all the water get out the bottom or does it come out the top? It starts coming out the top. And when it comes out the top, unfortunately, that top is still inside of us. And that's when you start getting symptoms. That's where you start getting that fat buildup, right? So why does it build up? Because of obesogens. Now, what are obesogens? Obesogens are endocrine disrupting chemicals. When you think of plastic, think fats, think obesogen. If my food is touching plastic, it's probably giving me obesogens. If my water is in plastic, it's probably giving me obesogens. If my beauty product is in plastic, it's probably giving me an obesogen. So guess what? You're not going to be able to isolate yourself from this. You're not going to be able to do this, not in this world. There might be some cultures out in like Africa or in South America that have completely isolated themselves that have a chance, but guess what? Some of this stuff has made it into the atmosphere. It's in the air that we breathe. You know, we live in a toxic world. It's just a fact of the matter. It's something that we have to come to terms with. We just have to equip our bodies to be able to handle it. How do we handle it? Well, number one, we have to find the things that have the most exposure. What are those things that give us the most exposure? If you live in a newly built house, that's the most exposure. The chemicals coming off of your laminate flooring or your new countertop or the paint on the walls, those have the most obesogens in them, the most toxins in them. So we got to look out for those things. Look out for your cleaners. Not only are they stored in plastic, but oftentimes they're synthetic chemicals. There's two cleaners that I approve of. Carte blanche. Any guesses? White vinegar and baking soda. Exactly right. You got your acid and you got your base. They're non-toxic. You can literally put both of them in your body. For the most part, you will not have a negative response to them. Now, you can overdo it, right? Don't use that as carte blanche for, I'm going to eat apples. Just vinegar and baking soda all the time. It's a good way to make yourself vomit, right? Now, check your cleaners and cosmetics. Cosmetics, you're going to have to look for a healthier brands, right? There's several brands out there. I'm not female, so I'm not an expert in this. You know, I trust my wife to go onto ewg.org or the Healthy Living app and look these things up to show just how toxic they are. All right, so that's a tool. Hydration. Are Americans properly hydrated? Should you be drinking 8-ounce glasses of water every single day? How many of you weigh 128 pounds? Then nobody. Half your body weight in ounces of water a day. So if I weigh 200 pounds, I should be drinking 100 ounces. If I weigh 300 pounds, I should be drinking 150 ounces. If I weigh 60 pounds, I should be drinking 30 ounces. That's obviously there's other factors, right? If I'm playing in the NBA, I might need a few more ounces of water to get through that. If I'm in the weight room all the time, I might need a few more ounces of water. But guess what? If I go to the weight room and I'm not getting, for me, 115 ounces of water, then I'm going to be severely dehydrated. And water is an essential component of the detoxification system. And so what do we need to do? Well, we need to make sure that that water source is pretty clean, right? We need to make sure that it's not coming in plastic, that it's properly filtered, right? So what are the best sources of water? Well, you've got your reverse osmosis. What does that do? It filters everything out. Better than that would be reverse osmosis that actually adds minerals back in. And so if you can afford to have a system put into your house that does that, that's the best quality system. What's next best? Well, just reverse osmosis, but then you need to add in some electrolytes. Yes, ma'am.
I could not drink more than 3 swallows of water. I thought I was gonna,
Oh, yeah.
it was gonna come up. But I've got myself trained to drink 10 to 12 every time I get a drink of water.
Good, good. Yeah.
And it has helped.
It really does. I mean, just so much. I mean, even if we're not talking about detoxification, we're talking about just metabolism. If you don't stay hydrated, it's going to be so hard to lose the weight.
You know what I like? The glass they give you in the hospital, it's glass.
Yeah.
And it has the ounces, and they tell you to
Yeah.
use that count.
Use that count.
But it's a plastic glass.
It is. It is.
I had my physical today,
Hmm.
and the only thing that was off on my blood work and the test they did was my one bad cholesterol. It was like 221,
Yeah.
which is a little high.
So a little bit of inflammation in there. So yeah, we just have to deal with that.
It's not bad, but he said I
Yeah.
should, because it went up 2 points from last time.
Yeah. And so we just have to watch the inflammation sources. So yeah, absolutely. So yeah, get it good. Yep. Yep.
So we have reverse osmosis, but I didn't realize until recently that you needed to add minerals back into
Yeah.
it. So what should we be adding back into it?
So a good quality multivitamin will be like adding a lot of that back in. So that's a good start. But not everybody remembers to take their multivitamin. So electrolytes are really the main thing. So when you're thinking electrolytes, you're thinking like potassium and magnesium and sodium, and usually electrolyte chains are, you can add some sea salts if it's coming from a source that has a lot of that.
So I just
Yeah.
did some magnesium cream,
Hmm.
it's organic. Is that something that
I wouldn't put it in your water.
putting it?
But yeah, putting it on your skin. Yeah, your skin will absorb somewhere, I've heard different estimates, but somewhere between 30 and 60% of what's put on it. Of course, it depends on what's put on it. So getting something that has magnesium in it and rubbing it on your skin is going to be good. Getting something that has sugar on it and rubbing it on your skin is going to do the opposite. So yeah, a lot of that. So that sounds like something that's a good idea. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I would start by just adding a little bit of sea salt to a glass of water. That's probably the easiest way to get most of the electrolytes. If I'm ever making homemade Gatorade, I'll do like a little sprinkle of sea salt and then lemon juice and then I like a little apple cider vinegar to keep the pH low. And then I'll do just a little bit of sweetener. Stevia, typically, if I feel like I need more calories, I'll do a raw honey in there as well. So those are good. Good for electrolytes. And then next step here is infrared heat. Now you can get infrared heat from the sun, just not this time of year, right? Anybody going to have very much luck getting infrared heat on a day like today? No, it's going to be kind of tricky. So sweating is a major source of detoxification, and it accounts for a lot. And oftentimes we sweat and we don't realize it because it evaporates so quickly. It just comes right off of your skin, especially if you're out in a dry heat. If you're in a humid heat, not so much. Part of the reason why I got this infrared sauna is because the infrared heat, it actually does more than just heat you up and make you sweat. Anybody been in a steam sauna before? Right? You step in, it's like 105 degrees and you're just like, oh, I can't breathe, right? Yeah, it's the best, right? It gets you out to 105 degrees. You start sweating, you get some of this stuff up. The higher your temperature goes, the more it stimulates your mitochondria to not only produce energy more efficiently, right, metabolism, but also to rid your body of toxins much more efficiently. And so, yes, you might be able to handle 120 degrees or 130 degrees in a steam sauna, but not for very long. The infrared heat, the far infrared heat from this relaxed sauna actually gets you up to 160 degrees so efficiently that you can stay in there between 5 and 15 minutes, get full benefit, and barely break a sweat because it is that dry heat. It's much better for you. And so this I'm actually including as part of the challenge at no additional charge. We're going to start selling 15-minute sessions in the infrared sauna for $20 a piece, or $50 for once a week, so four for a month, or you can get unlimited for $100 a month. So depends on how much you like it, right? How much you need it. So the next step, you know, some people would argue is the most important step. I think it goes hand in hand with the chiropractic side. It's why I give you spinal exercises, spinal home care to do. We have to move our body. We have a genetic requirement for this, but also if you want to keep your metabolism high, if you want to detoxify most efficiently, you need more body muscle percentage. So many of us have too low body muscle percentage. Our fat percentage is low, but our muscle percentage is also low. And so we need more muscle. And so most of us in this room don't want to bulk up, right? Except for Matt. Matt wants to be ripped. Yep. So the good news is lean muscle actually burns fat more efficiently than the dense, thicker muscle does. And so there's a very good way to get that. And that's actually through short duration, high intensity workouts. You guys have heard me talk about this before, that because of the epoch effect of high intensity interval training, working out for even 12 minutes with HIIT, H-I-I-T, will have a better cardiovascular and metabolic effect than working out for an hour doing cardiovascular style workouts. So you can walk for an hour, get off the treadmill, or you can go 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off of running fast or walking fast, getting your breath up, breaking a sweat for just 12 minutes. And for the next 72 hours, you'll be burning fat and burning calories at a higher level because your metabolism will be boosted. Plus, now you've built some lean muscle on top of it, increasing your muscle mass. Guess what that also does? It increases bone density. Your bones get stronger when you add that muscle mass. Yes. I was saying 20-20. You could also do 60-30, where you're 60 seconds on, 30 seconds off. You can do 40-20. Depends on how you want to push yourself and which movements you're doing. And really, the great thing about HIIT is you don't have to have a fitness program to do this. You just pick movements you like. But we do have a program for you. It's called Max T3. The 3 T's are time, type, and tempo. It's basically just move yourself well. And each of you should have gotten one of these bookmarks that has a login code with a lifelong membership to Max T3, where you can get workouts on your personal computer every day for the rest of your life, if you want them. However, some of you need a little bit more guidance than that. Some of you might need some hand holding. So that's why we have Matt, right? We need to create an exercise routine. So part of the 30-day challenge, if you sign up for it tonight, is you're going to get a personalized fitness program from Mr. Mateo over there, Senor Mateo. So the other thing we need to do is we need to find our motivation. For some of us, it's going to be 6 months from now on the beach, right? We want to fit into that special bathing suit. Others of us, it's an event. Somebody's getting married. Maybe it's us, maybe it's somebody else, but we want to look nice when we go to that wedding. Others of us, it's our purpose. It's our family. It's our jobs. It's our careers. Maybe it's a combination of the two. Maybe it's the mission that God has for us. Maybe it's a specific family member. I don't know. I'm not the one that's here to pick that for you. That's something that you should be thinking about every single day, that you should be waking up in the morning filled with purpose that only God can give you. Find it. Find that motivation and get there. Create that SMART goal. So what is the challenge? Well, the challenge is here. All right, you can see all this stuff on here, but let's just hit the highlights here real quick. So number one, we're going to go 30 days on the advanced plan. Now, everybody can do the advanced plan. You might need some coaching with that. So that's where Cheryl comes in. She's going to help with some of that coaching. If you need to do a 7-day food diary and go back and forth with her, do the LRQ. She'll help you set that up, get those numbers measured and tested. But we're going to do 30 days of the advanced plan to allow our bodies to become fat adapted. If your body does not know how to burn fat because you are consuming 80% of your calories from carbohydrates every single day, think cereal for breakfast, sandwich for lunch, bread for dinner. You got a roll? That's probably you. We need to be on the advanced plan so that we become fat adapted. You can't take these rolls off if you don't take the rolls off your plate, right? Absolutely. The supplements matter here too, because we're getting those right nutrients in, and then we're giving ourselves that jump start with the metabolism from several of those things. Number two, 30 days of hydration. So every single day for 30 days, we're going to commit to half our body weight in ounces of water. More if necessary, but as a baseline, get that half your body weight in ounces of clean filtered water. Number three, we're going to do 30 days of exercise. So you can do this different ways. If you want to do HIIT, you don't need more than 15 minutes. So that can be it. You can get that 15 minutes of HIIT. If you need to start out by walking or just picking up a can of soup and doing this, we can do 45 minutes of exercise, and we can do it slow until your body is used to and ready for the other stuff. If you want to do yoga, you can do yoga. If you want to do praise flexibility routine, you can do praise flexibility routine. But every day for 30 days. Get yourself moving, get yourself fit, build yourself up, get yourself ready to accomplish the purpose that God has for you. 30 days of less stress. I'd rather say 30 days of peace creation, whether that's a gratitude journal or at the end of the day, just writing down something good that happened to you, even if it's not necessarily something that you're grateful for. If it's committing to 30 days of 30 minutes of prayer every single day, 30 days of reading the Bible every single day. These are techniques, time-tested techniques that people have used to create peace. Some of us might just need 10 minutes of quiet time when they get home from work. Right? But do something for 30 days that's going to create peace in your life. More peace than where you're at right now. 30 days of chiropractic, the adjustments and the home exercises. I'm not saying 30 days of getting adjusted every day for 30 days. Most of you don't need that level. Some of you might want that level. That's okay. If you want to do 30 days of adjustments, I will give you 30 adjustments in 30 days. I was actually just telling Matt about one of my friends who was seeing a cancer patient. He has stage 4 terminal cancer, brain tumor, given 2 weeks to live. He adjusted him 9 times a day for 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, he said, "Doc, I like you, and I love these adjustments, but I need to go back home to Michigan." He said, "Okay, you can go home. I love you too. Like, I'll be praying for you." Goes home, his family freaks out because he's not supposed to be alive, right? they say you need to see your oncologist. So he goes to his oncologist. He's like, well, let's do a brain scan. So they do a brain scan. The tumor size had cut in half. All they had done is 6 weeks of adjustments, 9 times a day. Right? His body must have been severely subluxated to need that much care.
We had a lady at first class
Mhm.
that had stage 4 cancer,
Yeah,
and she came the other day and she was gone.
that's awesome.
And
Praise
she
God for
just-
that. Yeah.
It is. I didn't know if they misdiagnosed or what, but
God heals.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. God
she
heals.
was so excited.
It's important to realize that, for all those instances where somebody gets collapsed, there's double where somebody doesn't do anything about it.
Yep.
It's really important to remember, this stuff is stuff we're supposed to do like.
Yeah, absolutely. So in your magazine here, we've got a couple of resources. So first off, signing up for the challenge. That's going to be this form here. So there's actually a lot of things that you can sign up for on this sheet, but please write legibly. First off, we need your name. We need to know who you are so that we can help you get what you're needing. We probably have your date of birth and contact number and email. If you've changed that recently, or you want to get stuff at a different number or different email address, go ahead and put that down. And then there are several things on here that'll be helpful for you. So the next one is our community dinner. Next month, this is a celebration dinner. This is us coming to the end of 30 days and saying, we did it. We did it. And if it's not worth celebrating, it's not worth doing. Am I right? Right. So we're going to celebrate together. That's going to be next month. So everybody that's participating in the challenge, go ahead and circle yes. Next is our next workshop. And so what was the date on that? March 6th, Monday, March 6th. We're going to be focusing on heart health. Why are we doing it in March instead of February when everybody's focused on hearts and Valentine's? Because we couldn't find a good day to put it in February. And so next closest one was the first Monday in March. But if anybody is concerned about their heart staying healthy for the rest of their life and maybe knows somebody that needs that, go ahead and circle yes on there. And if you know the person that's dealing with the heart issue, go ahead and put their name on there so that we can reserve a spot for them. Next would be workouts. So we do multiple workouts a week. So far, Thursdays just haven't happened because there's been very little interest. So if you want a Thursday, please circle that, but also commit to showing up for that, because if you're not going to be here, we're not going to do it, right? Every Saturday morning, either I lead a flexibility and balance routine, or Molly leads a Zumba class, which both are very beginner level. Several of you here can tell you that we've worked at a very, very basic level, and you've already seen improvements with some of that. But if you want to show up to one of those, Debbie will tell you.
Yeah, I can add to that. A very special person who's
Yeah.
always there. Make sure that you're doing it at your level. So like right after my bout with COVID, this person who's standing in front of us sat me in the chair. And
Not to be
stood-
named.
stood beside you to make sure I didn't fall. I mean,
Yeah.
when he says that it's at your level, Dr.
No,
Jacobs
no.
said it's at your level, and nobody looks at you funny.
Yeah, no judgment.
No judgment.
Yep.
I didn't want to name.
Yeah, no names.
Make you laugh.
Yeah. All right. Next line here, would you like to schedule a nutrition consult with Cheryl? If you're doing the challenge, go ahead and circle yes on that. She'll take you through that 7-day food diary and make sure what you're getting is good and help guide you through the things that you should be removing for the 30-day challenge. And then if you like this so much that you want me to come and talk to your colleagues or your small group or your church or your pastor, go ahead and put down what group that is and who I should be contacting there as well. And then if you're doing the challenge, just to make it crystal clear for us that you want to do the challenge, just write challenge at the bottom of the sheet, right? That just, so there's no confusion. I mean, simple minds, right? So yeah, we're gonna do that. So what do you get for that today? Well, number one, you're getting the Kickstart supplement bundle. So this is about $253 worth of supplements in that bundle. Of course, you guys are getting it at 20% off. because you're at the makeover tonight. Number two, you're getting that nutrition coaching, which is $25 a session. You're going to get that for free. Number three, you're going to get weekly infrared sauna at no extra charge. So that's about a $50 value for the month. Number four, you're going to get that individualized workout plan from Matt. You'll also need to schedule a time with him to do that. That's normally, if you get that from a personal trainer, that's at least $25 just for him sitting down and building it. Number five, you get to go to the shop with the doc on Wednesday this week. And then lastly, oh, nope, not lastly. So that's a $375+ value with the last thing I'm throwing on there. Not today. Today it's only $199.99. So $200 for all of that. Plus, you get a free ticket to the dinner. The dinner's moving forward. Unless you're bringing a guest with you, they're going to be $20 just to cover your costs, right? And the dinner is actually going to be a recap of what we're doing right now. So that'll be February 20th. We're going to be recapping this information, and we're going to be celebrating our successes, right? So guess who the recap's for? A little bit us. Hopefully you guys don't need a refresher after doing it in a month. It's to show your friends what you can accomplish with discipline and accountability and the right principles of health and healing. And so we definitely want to do that as well. So if you're getting the bundle, guess what? All that other stuff's included. So just go ahead. Everything else tonight is 15% off. If you're getting part of the bundle and you want some of this other stuff, guess what? The other stuff is going to kick it over the cost of $200. And so it'll just be $200 for everything, right? Now, if you're only getting one thing, then we'll, do the cost of the supplement, and then you can individually pay for those other things if you want to. So the best value tonight is actually just get the bundle, use that. If some of you are too thin, we'll leave out the metabolic burn. Some of you do not need to lose weight. We need to build muscle on this challenge, right? That's Matt back there. He's not doing metabolic burn. No, we're doing like some mass gainer type stuff for him. Yes. So that is the plan. So make sure you write challenge on here, and that we do not have enough of all of the flavors for everybody to get a bundle here tonight. So we're going to be doing pre-orders. So that'll be, if you give it to us tonight, that should be here by Friday, because we're going to order that right away. Right, Cheryl? Yeah, right away. Or tomorrow, yeah. It doesn't matter. Today, tomorrow, first thing. Yeah, it'll be right away. What we do have, we will sell to you. We will give to you, but it's like, go ahead and get that if it's here. But we'll go ahead and get you set up. So action steps number one, get this to Matt or Cheryl. And if you've got your calendar, you know the day, we'll go ahead and put a consult on the schedule for both of them. Yeah, it'll be a C code in your Sched app so you can see what it looks like. And we'll put that on so that you can meet with them. You'll probably want to do that in the next 5 days if you're wanting to get started, so that they can help personalize that for you. Also go over, get your supplements, get what you need. I've also just turned on a new I code in Sched, which is for the infrared sauna. And so you can schedule out all 4 of those if you're signing up for the challenge tonight. You can sign up for it at the exact same time as your adjustment. Just know it's a 15-minute block. And once that 15-minute block is over, your time's done. So you have to start it at the block. So it might want to be back to back with your adjustment so that you're not missing out on any of that time in there. So there's that.
About the sauna.
Yeah.
Wear workout
Yeah.
type clothes.
Expect to sweat.
You will sweat.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring shorts and a t-shirt, that's fine. To go in there, don't wear a heavy sweater.
No, partially because it'll block the infrared rays, and also partially because then you will start to sweat and you'll sweat heavier, and it's just not going to be enjoyable. Next is going to be a tool for this 30-day challenge. So all the stuff that we just laid out, it's a checklist, right? You put this on your fridge. Every time you do something, you go in and you check it off, right? So just for easy tracking, and then you're going to want to bring this to that dinner on February 20th as well. And then Cheryl did us a nice favor here of putting together the next upcoming events. So the dinner, the victory dinner for those completing the 30-day challenge is Monday, February 20th says 6:15. Currently, we're planning on that being here. However, I reserve the right to reserve someplace fancier or nicer or with better food. So keep your ears peeled for that. The next event after that will be the Heart Health Workshop on 6th, and that'll be at 6:15. And then the last event that we have planned currently for you guys is our Patient Appreciation Day on March 15th. That's a holiday, right? That's St. Patty's Day?
St. Patty's Day is on the 17th, which is a Friday.
Yeah.
So they moved it to Wednesday.
Yeah. More of you guys come on Wednesday than on Friday. So we're gonna all be wearing green that day, and we'll have some green flavored items for you. And then in case you guys wanted to try it, we've got all these goodies over here. Since this is a makeover, healthy goodies. So all these things are things that you can eat on the challenge. I started my challenge today, and guess what? I feel great, right? It's not bad. I'm not craving sugar, even though I ate probably one of those over the holidays, right? All that stuff is good. All that stuff is plan approved. We've got the recipes out here. Chris made the brownies. Anybody remember Christina Brandel when she used to work here? Some of you have been around that long. She made the cupcakes, and that's a vanilla cupcake. And then Matt just blended up the smoothie. So I would start with the smoothie because it's not going to be as desserty as the desserts are, but you'll enjoy all of those. So make sure you enjoy that. So everybody got your marching orders? Everybody know what to do? Any questions?
Oh, you want to talk about the wellness?
Oh, yes, almost forgot. Yeah, what the heck is this? So some of you have had one of these before, just with a different logo on it. So that ended last year. And so up until today, that would have continued to be valid. But as of today, this is the new Wellness Warrior card. Just by having this, you guys get 5% off all supplement purchases. So guess what? Any supplements beyond the metabolics bundle that we're selling tonight get an additional 5% off. So tonight, everything's 15% off. So guess what? If you have this card, which unless you dropped it on the floor, which I picked up at least one tonight, yeah, you get 20% off tonight. And each time you come to a workshop, you're going to get a little punch in one of our Max Living logos, and that's going to add a percentage to your discount. There's 12 punches. Guess how many classes we're going to have this year? 12. What's your max percentage off? 12 plus 5 is 17. 17% off. Plus, when you come to the workshop, guess what percentage you get off? 15. So if you come to all 12 workshops, 15 plus 17, 32% off. You're going to get 32% off by the end of the year. So make sure you use this, keep it in your wallet, bring it to the office if you're ever running low on supplements so you can stock up at a small discount for now, big discount later, right? So my reward for you guys being good patients. Good. Any other questions or reminders?
No.
Okay.
I think they have the nerve chart in there. That's just for reference.
Yep. If you guys want more tools on how to track what's going on inside your nervous system and what part of your spine is most likely to be affected, go ahead and look at that. So go eat. Let me say a quick blessing over the food. And then you guys hang out and ask questions individually. Pick out supplements. I'll hang out by the supplements. You can ask me questions and obviously talk to Matt and Cheryl. So, dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to come together and learn. Lord, we just continue to pray for your blessings over us, over our families, over the purposes and plans that you have for us. Lord, just lift us up. Help give us the strength to accomplish those. Lord, this next 30 days, it won't be easy. But you said, in this world, we will have trouble, but to fear not, for you have overcome the world. We just pray for that overcoming spirit today. We pray that for the next 30 days and beyond, that this would just be a time of growing and strengthening and enhancing ourselves to be able to fulfill the purposes and plans that you have for us. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.